We continue to the next panel. While the previous one was focused on the challenges and the threats, the second one will focus on the solutions and where are we going in terms of these solutions. After the panel, we'll have one more talk, and then we conclude our session. For this panel, it's my pleasure to invite Professor Artur Ekert, that was here early in the morning from the Mathematical Institute, University of Oxford, Hamutal Shalom, the VP R&D from CyberRidge, Meir, co-founder and CEO of Modelyo, and Itan Barmes, co-founder and Chief Strategy Officer of Key Security. Okay, cool. So let's start maybe with a short intro. With a short intro that you will say a word about yourself and your company, if it's a company, or your background, Artur, in the case that part of the people that join us couldn't hear this earlier. So I'll let you, Itan, to start.
Yeah. Hi everyone, Itan Barmes. I'm a trained physicist. After my PhD, I went into cybersecurity. I spent time in various companies. The last one was at Deloitte, where I led on this topic of quantum risk, doing work with a lot of clients worldwide. And at the beginning of this year, I decided to leave because I decided that the solutions in the market are not good enough, and it's if no one does it, then I should do it. So I started the company at the beginning of the year with 2 co-founders that are somewhere here in the audience. Okay, and this is my lovely team. And yeah, so about the company, we are providing solutions for enterprise-grade solution for organizations who want to overcome this risk in the right way. So it's not migrating a point solution to PQC or QKD or whatever. It's how you manage the transition on an enterprise level.
Perfect. Hamutal.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hamutal Shalom. I'm not a cyber woman, so I feel a bit out of place here, but I see some physicists also, and physicist and electronic engineer with over 30 years of experience in developing optical communication systems, mainly in the IDF elite technological units. For the past 3.5 years, I am the VP of Research and Development for CyberRidge, where I lead the development of our photonic layer security technology. It's an all-optical encryption technology that secure data in transit and really transform the data into just optical noise, thus preventing any harvesting that were mentioned in the first panel, and is truly quantum ready, post-quantum ready just now.
Benny.
Good evening. I'm Meir. Actually also more than 20 years in the IDF and some other organizations. Most of the years I was actually combat warrior and special forces. And the last duty, I actually managed a technological operation that most of us know in the north of Israel. So I was managing this technological operation for 6 years. Actually, after October 7th, so I went back. I lived in Rosh Hanikra. I'm a mefune from Rosh Hanikra. So I jumped right away to the north, and actually I was trying to figure out something that was trying to get into Israel under the ground, as you probably understand. And we tapped the area and we tried to understand how we're going to do it, and we need to analyze all the data that we collect. And that's the first time I understand that we have a compute power in the IDF. We have compute power. We don't have enough compute to process the data, to analyze the data. So that's when I want to establish the company that we established. The name is Modelyo. What we do, we actually creating a radical, and I'm saying especially radical classified cloud. We're using TE, it's hardware-based security, but in a very, very radical way. We have a couple of, I would say, achievement with technology. And of course, that quantum computing, I want to address to something that David said. David said, you know, we don't need to prepare for cyber crime, and I agree. For cyber quantum crime, we don't need to be prepared. But the difference between cyber crime that you can do today to any cloud, quantum computing is going to make a cyber attack, and that's something else. And sometimes people doing the differentiation between cyber crime and cyber attack. So cyber attack, yeah, we don't know what the Chinese are, you know, building for us. I don't know. But the H front saying that we need to be prepared for this, I would say, problem between both of the sides. So that's my pick on it.
Perfect. Artur.
Well, good evening. My name is Artur Ekert. My background is essentially applied mathematics, physics, a bit of crypto. And my primary employer is the Mathematical Institute in Oxford, but I split my time between Europe and Singapore, where I was a founding director for the Center for Quantum Technologies. So my interest is mostly academic, I have to say, even though I've been working with colleagues on the defense or commercial side. And I'm always happy to see the applied side of those abstract solutions. I have to say, when I came up with entanglement-based quantum crypto as part of my PhD, honestly, I never believed that I actually see this applied at the commercial level. So that only shows that most theories are actually quite hopeless in terms of making any predictions. So whatever I'm going to say, you should just be very skeptical about it.
Yeah. Good. So I would like to start to ask you, and I have a bunch of questions, and we'll try to keep it like short and dynamic. So my first question, before we dive into solutions, I want to ask you about the previous discussion about in what way you see the threat, or what you think about the time that will take us, or that we need to be prepared. And this I would like to direct to Itan and Artur. So please, Itan, start.
So about the timeline, when do you think?
The timeline, and we just had a discussion from the CISO perspective and the government. So from your perspective, can you address it like in short?
Yeah, so unfortunately I forgot my crystal ball at home, so I cannot make exact predictions. I would say there are two answers to this. One is more academic and the other one is more practical. I'll start with the practical one. It doesn't matter. Because when I talk to CISOs, then you know, quantum is a beautiful topic. I'm a physicist. I always like to talk about it, but it doesn't matter. If your regulator tells you to migrate, you will have to do it. If you know there are other reasons, delving into the how many qubits and all that stuff. If you're not a physicist, it doesn't direct people to take action. So I would say it doesn't even matter. If you're interested in the more academic answer, then there are beautiful frameworks. I even wrote an article last year that explains in details to people who are not physicists what are the 9 steps that you need to achieve for a quantum computer to break cryptography. It's I cannot explain it in 1 minute, but it's something that is really interesting to know, but is completely irrelevant for your decision whether you need to actually take action.
Artur.
I have to say that I listened with great interest to the previous discussion, the previous panel, and I think that I actually quite agreed with with a very pragmatic approach of David. I think, where he can see he acknowledged the real progress. I hope I'm not sort of I correcting the right, so that at least the way I understood, that David agreed with the fact that there is a progress in technology and it's going to happen sooner or later, even though we can talk about the timescales. But the impact that he could see right now is mostly psychological, so that it's undermining the trust and confidence in existing tools. So I think there is a strong component of that. However, when it comes to technological side, I do think we have to be a little bit more concerned about it, simply because it's a little bit like AI. I wonder what was actually what would be David's comment on the role of AI, say like 10 years ago. Is it still something on the horizon? There was not a clear-cut clock when this AI moment happens, right? Let's say it can happen in technology. It doesn't have to be gradual. There may be a quantum moment in the development of quantum technologies, and then it will just start rolling too fast to react. So therefore, I think a word of caution, so being prepared, being sort of aware that when things happen, they may happen very fast, is actually quite important. And if I may just only add that, in my view, from a sort of like a very pragmatic perspective, indeed, the current technology in quantum computing is perhaps not a threat right away, right today. But to bet your security on the slowness of progress in technology is also not a good idea. And I think that at the macro level, we have to take a view that we train cyber warriors for today using a set of tools that are quite familiar. But the cybersecurity is evolving all the time with the new technologies, and we have AI now, we have a quantum on the horizon. So therefore, at least at the educational part, we have to train people to be aware, to do the risk assessment and face the challenges that those new technologies may bring. So, but having said this, you know, I was surprised finding myself in agreement with what David was saying at the sort of very practical, pragmatic level.
Yeah. Good. So I want to start to talk with you about the solutions. So maybe Hamutal and Benny, we just had a kind of a perspective that says that PQC and QKD are complementary. So from your point of view, what do you think the solution will look like? Will it be a portfolio of solutions, or one winner that takes it all, or how will it be the answer to the quantum threats?
Okay, I think that most of this question was answered really very nicely by Tal in the previous presentation. I think it was just a bit lack of the photonic layer security for solutions. I think I agree that PQC and QKD can work together. The QKD can only secure the key, and the PQC secure the data, but it doesn't secure the overhead, which also contains some relevant data that sometimes need to be secured. The photonic technology, ours, for example, I don't know of any others now, but they can secure the whole link. It can incorporate both QKD and PQC into the technology, and it really prevents both harvesting today from later encrypted, and also can secure the overhead. So I think well, there should be a variety of solutions, and I think we are heading that direction.
Mm-hmm. Benny.
I'm like you. I'm not like a prophet. I know what's going to happen, but for sure, we're going to need a portfolio of solutions, lots of solutions. But I think that the best way to start, and this is where I'm going with people that think that quantum computing it's a future attack. It's not tomorrow. It's future attack. So it's better to create solutions that solve the problem that we have today. And Ophir said, I think before, that even today, like the infrastructure, why banks don't go to the cloud very fast? Why governments don't go to the cloud? Because it's not the problem of encryption, it's the problem of keys. You know, where are you going to put your keys? So, by the way, I don't agree with the PQC that you said that you need to put PQC everywhere. No, symmetric encryption is enough. So you can put PQC just on the control plane, not in the control data. So you just need to use the PQC in places that you need to use that. You don't need to put it everywhere. And by the way, the Photonic, I think that, and I know the company, it's a great solution. So if you don't mess with what you're using today, you should start to implement components that are ready to use today if they don't make your latency bad, your environment bad, or give you, I know, overhead for other stuff. What we do, and to just complete the portfolio, is that we know how to make the keys yours, and what's yours is yours. So even the control plane is not in the cloud, like not even the keys is in your side. I know if people familiar with the solution, it's called enclave, it's in Hebrew it's muvlat, an enclave in the cloud. So the problem is that you have enclaves of like, I don't know, maybe 15 years, maybe less. And the enclaves that are very, very strong are in, they are in user mode, but you need the kernel mode to run something nice and it's going to be efficient. So we create something that is kernel mode. It's not very helpful. So the thing is that to make the fusion between them over there, and of course in the future with post-quantic solution.
Thank you. I would like to ask you, Artur, about the. I mean, we talk about the threats, and we kind of imagining what could be like how it looks, kind of a attack that is based on whatever agency or quantum capabilities that's used by a crime organization. I don't know. Do you think that over the next few years, while we are starting to work on such solutions, will we have better perspective of the potential attacks, or we will continue with our constant knowledge about assuming what the attacks could be?
Well, I think they're not necessarily exclusive, in my view, in a way that I think one thing is that the quantum technology and the use of quantum technology in data security is quite often simplified either to QKD or to quantum computers as a potential threat on the horizon, which may take years to have this capability, or to post-quantum. By the way, I also don't like the name post-quantum. But the quantum, call it quantum resistance kind of schemes, right? But there's more to it. It's just, for example, quantum sensors can be used for eavesdropping, and this is a real possibility. Mm-hmm. You can think about a number of other uses of quantum technology that may have impact on existing data structures. So I can see, well, you know, again, it's reasonable, I think, to assume that we'll see more and more sophisticated attacks, especially on the sort of physical infrastructure coming using quantum technology. Nothing to do with quantum computers per se, nothing to do with QKD, but things like sensor-like kind of technology. And but you know, the second is also true, that our awareness will probably be gradually sort of the more we know and more we anticipate, more we play the game of you know, good guys, bad guys in the theoretical sense, and that will be probably also going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I would like to get your impression, Hamutal and Benny, when you interact with the customers. I mean, and we just heard a kind of example, but you do it like on a daily basis. Maybe later we can ask you, Itan, or maybe on another question. How you feel this interaction? How you convince, because you actually carry the message of the importance of this threat.
I would say that. There's a thing that the Pentagon or the White House, I think just half a year ago, they put like a note, and NIST put a note, and they put like the regulation on the hands of the users, like on the financial institutions and other. So I think that the shared responsibility that they push, making them ask questions. I see lots of people that the second question that I'm getting when I'm presenting my solution, they're saying it's a post-quantic solution. And that's the second question I'm getting, but it's not the first. Mm-hmm. So by the way, except one, maybe Liberty Mutual, the first question he asked me, it's a post-quantum encryption, and I said, we can do it. Like, we can put PQC if that's what you need. But like, for now, like my CTO is like, is like David. He's like looking at that environment saying it's like, you know, we're able to sell to a bank. A QKD today is a very good salesperson. Like right now, he needs QKD. Probably it's going to take him, I don't know, a couple of years. So, but the engagement is important. So I think that CISOs are looking for those solutions, but it's not something that they feel the pain yet. Mm-hmm. They feel the pressure. Yeah. Hamutal?
Yes, we do recognize an increased interest in the solutions that are quantum, let's say, quantum agility, as you may have said. It is mainly in governmental areas and defense, but also a bit financial, data centers that people that we meet. I think it was encouraged both, but this the Pentagon announcement a few, I think 2 years ago, and also a recent report by Gartner's that they estimated the commercial quantum computers by 2030. So they believe it will be sooner than what the first forum was estimating. But there is really quite a lot of interest we find.
Thank you. Would you like Itan to address this as well as giving us something about the part of the challenge that your company taking whenever you explain to CISOs your value?
Yeah, so I've been talking to people about this for the past 7 years as a consultant. And 7 years ago, everyone is interested. Being a physicist now, you're a superstar. Everyone wants to talk to you. When you talk about this as a risk, and everyone is interested to listen, and they ask, when is this going to happen? And 5 years ago, we would say 5 to 10 years, they would say, oh, that's not my problem. And look at their second in command and say, that's going to be your problem. So people have been pushing this away for quite some time. That is changing. It's not a coincidence that we decided to start the company this year. I've been seeing an enormous increases in interest in the past even 18 to 24 months. And now we are very busy talking to people and trying to come up with the right solution for them. I think that the interest is the hockey stick effect. We are at the beginning of this effect, but it's absolutely on everyone's mind, maybe besides David. Where is he? But I also spoke to him, and it's not about, quantum is a trigger, but everyone has cryptography issues. From our company's perspective, in my opinion, the biggest issue here on an enterprise level is not whether QKD is a viable solution and whether PQC is ever going to be broken. It's how you deal with the transition. And when you talk to people and show them, you're doing exercises, let's say it's going to happen in 2 years from now. Are you confident that you can actually do this transition on time? And even people who are confident at the beginning of the conversation realize at the end that they're not. So the biggest issue, in my opinion, is the organizational challenge here of even understanding how to deal with something like this.
Mm-hmm. Benny, usually we sell to the CISOs. We share our value with CISOs. Now, quantum topics in many organizations are led by the CTO or innovation or others. So who you try to meet in these things?
Actually, the CIOs are always careful. Like they're saying to us, put me something that the CISO will say, okay, that he's going to approve it, right? So even if I need to bend a little bit my solution, so the CISO will say, yeah, it's a great solution, the CIO wants that to be ready for what's going to happen next, right? So, but I want to add something to what you say, and I think it's very important. It's that we are in a race. We are in a race. We think we're not, but we are. and there's a race between, I would say, I'm going to be not politically correct, but there's like a race that the American, Israeli, Sunni, stream is moving, and there's a Chinese, Russian, Iranian, and other stream that is moving towards this threat. So this race started probably a long time ago, and nobody knows where this race is going to end, right? So I don't know when it's going to be the D-Day, the zero day that something going to happen. But for sure, the next war, for sure we know that it's going to be cyber in it. But if it's going to be with quantum attack in it, I think that's dangerous. And I think we need to prepare for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow. Okay, you know, we're hearing such a variety of opinions. I would like to ask Artur, you are in touch with organization. I mean, do you see them right now really testing such solutions, or is it only like having meetings with people like Itan and asking questions and things like this, or they're really implementing them? What do you see?
Organization, you mean?
Yeah, companies and others in the, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it varies immensely. I think that, of course, you know, the government agencies or those academics who work in a rather cozy environment where you have a grant and you can think a little bit about long-term future. So clearly, there are interesting implementations. In fact, earlier today, I was describing a very impressive implementation by the Chinese. They published this paper about device-independent quantum key distribution. And never mind, you know, quantum key distribution and device-independent techniques as such may play actually an amazing role if you can have units that can self-certify themselves, right? So yeah, it is certainly the case. On the sort of more business-minded people, that there's a whole spectrum of approaches. Some people can see the market, some people have sort of a perception that, for example, a quantum, maybe you don't go for a perfect security, but quantum enhanced security is good. Let's use something simple, off-the-shelf equipment. Variety of different approaches. And what I like about it is that I like this sort of a free market approach. Let startup happen. Let them try. Whoever survives will dictate the trend, right? So I don't have any, you know, I can pontificate for a while, but I don't have any sort of better insight that you have or you guys have. But I think by trials and errors, that's the only way to go. So they let you know, 1,000 flowers bloom and let them try different solutions. Look for the market, look for the clients, look for the real needs. And at the same time, you know, it's interestingly how those needs are shaped by not only technology development, but what, you know, David was referring, David happened, so we are referring so often to him in this conversation, right? But as he articulated a certain position, so we are taking a view with that, right? So I think that the market is also driven by irrational forces, by the fact that, you know, there is a perception that I have something, therefore we should have this, or maybe you think that I think that I think that you think, and so on and so forth. So there's lots of that, and it's going to happen. So I think when it goes outside the remit of cozy equations and well-defined questions, it's just, I feel that, you know, I'm probably, you know, as good in my estimates as all of you guys. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And for like the last comment, we have here CISOs, cyber professionals, quantum community members, and others. What would you say, like as the message or something that you would suggest that people will take from this event? Let's do kind of a short one around here, Itan.
From the whole event?
Yeah, no, from our discussion here, from this discussion about this.
So first of all, I think that we can all agree that physics is really, really cool. I am very happy that I studied physics. Jokes aside, for people who are responsible for security within the organization, my message is act. I've been in this domain for quite some time. If I look at the level of awareness that we created in the past years and extrapolate this, we're not going to be on time. It's really interesting, continue learning, but don't just learn, start doing.
Hamutal.
Yes, so for the CISO, I think I have the same, the same recommendation. Don't wait. Harvesting is happening now, and you should act now. For the cyber guys, well, if you don't have the data, as in our solution, you don't have any bits, don't have any way of working with it. And for the quantum guys, keep up the good work. Your success is our opportunity. Thank you.
I'm coming from a religious house, so I would say that in Hebrew, we're saying, בין השמשות כהרף עין, ולא יכלו לעמוד עליו חכמים. Yeah, between the two suns, it's like a blink of an eye, and even the smart people cannot measure it, right? It's 18 minutes between day and night. And I think the big revolutions that happening, it's 18 minutes, boom, it's like just like that. But it's between two suns, so it's like you're in daylight, and then it's like between suns, and it's like a blink of an eye, and then it's darkness. So the problem with those revolutions is that you cannot be a prophet, as we said. So we need to start engage with those technology. We need to start feel it, because for sure, when it's gonna happen, I think it's gonna be in a blink of an eye, the revolution. For sure, it's not gonna be like tomorrow, everything, quantum computer, and we're dead. Yeah, that's not the situation, but it's gonna be something that's gonna change us, that's for sure.
Well, probably many things one can say, but if I were to say just one thing, is as a private pilot, we have this adage which says, plan your flight and then fly your plan. And which, you know, the both are important. It's, of course, when you fly, it's not often the case that you fly your plan. It doesn't always happen as you anticipated and planned. And I think that the same should be applied to what we are doing. And I would stress more educational part rather than commercial at the moment, simply that we need a new generation of people who understand both conventional crypto, quantum part of it, together with AI, all kind of new technologies we may be facing. Right now, it became quite clear that we are so partitioned in our knowledge that we cannot make a reasonable assessment of danger. So I think there's a real need to educate the new generation of cyber warriors. So that, I would say, I would put the stress on that.
Great, thank you. I think that these are important messages and we definitely can take them. So thank you so much, our panel.